the Rams are as desperate as a football team can be.
Yeah, and that's what I love about this matchup. That's why I'm picking the Rams to win this game.
The most dangerous team in the world is a desperate team, and as banged up as the Rams are, and the 49ers are a little bit banged up themselves with injuries to Debo and McCaffrey, but the Rams are coming in 0-2. And 0-2 means you are going to fight like it is a backyard fight in an alley, and that's what I'm most worried about, that the Rams are as desperate as a football team can be.
Yeah, and that's what I love about this matchup. That's why I'm picking the Rams to win this game, because they've been told how they're not going to be good without Puka, without obviously Cooper Kupp, their offensive line banged up, missing a couple guys on defense, but they still got the quarterback, Matthew Stafford. And if there's a matchup this weekend that I like Matthew Stafford as the better quarterback over Brock Purdy. The 49ers don't look the same without Debo Samuel. We've seen it. It's highlighted on the receiver on Netflix. We know what the team looks like. So to me right now, I feel like this is going to be one of those old school matchups, and it's really about who can run the ball well. 49ers do have that advantage, but I think the Rams have a couple of guys that they can use as well. Blake Corum, Kyron Williams. I think to me, this is the most intriguing matchup. The 49ers can be at 1-2. Rams could be at 0-3. Like, it's a crazy game that 3 weeks into it, this is probably one of the most important games.
Williams
so far.
hasn't had much of a healthy line in front of him. Kyron Williams, obviously you're already on your third guard of the year. The offensive line is sort of a bit of a patchwork right now. But beyond that, is Kyron Williams, to me, to you, the guy that you do think can be like a bell cow back in the NFL?
Yeah, I mean, he's a second-team All-Pro for a reason last year behind Christian McCaffrey. The dude can ball, just got to stay healthy, right? And we know that's the hard part. He's not the most durable guy, but I think that's why they drafted Blake Corum, the running back out of Michigan, in the third round. Very similar body type. They look the same almost. So the Rams feel like they've got a carbon copy of it, of Kyron Williams, and that's why I think they're going to utilize more and more of these backs.
Through 2 weeks, have you seen any signs of aging at all in Stafford? To me, he's like wearing the crown of one-man army in this league right now. The way that Donovan McNabb used to be called the one-man army, it feels like every hope any Rams game could have is just specifically on Stafford and a defense that is looking for its identity in the post-Aaron Donald era.
Yeah, I mean, he's still a warrior. I mean, the dude didn't want to come out the game last week, Damon. I mean, they were getting their butts beat, by the Arizona Cardinals. He didn't want to come out the game. He loves it. He's passionate about it. As long as number 9 is available for the Rams, they always feel like they've got a shot. So there's going to be some different guys, some new guys who are going to have opportunities that they didn't have in weeks prior. But I'll tell you this, they're excited to be at home. They know what this matchup is going to bring. It's Niners-Rams, obviously two teams that have been in the Super Bowl before, over the last couple of years. It's come down to these last two teams over the last couple of years. And to me, I think that's the matchup that we want to see. It's always a measuring stick for both teams, right? For the Rams, it's where are you at? And then for the 49ers, can you still kind of sustain this supremacy that you've had over the last couple of seasons? Both teams, we'll know a lot about both teams.
Passing is down. Touchdowns are down. Offense officially coming out of spring training seems to be behind the pitching, if you know what I mean here. So is there any reason that you can think of that explains that? Are defenses officially getting better? Is the preseason been changed and bastardized so much? It's not the preseason that you used to play yourself into shape through. Why is offense down in a league that is prioritized offense from what gets paid and what gets the rule book bent in its direction? Why?
2 more weeks, and then I think the offenses will be back. We're still in the preseason part of football. The first 4 weeks are truly an extension of the preseason because a lot of guys haven't played. A lot of guys have wore ball caps during the preseason, right? And so these are like 2 weeks in where you're seeing a lot of penalties, a lot of poor tackling, and then just guys getting acclimated to playing real football again. When I played, we used to do a 4-game breakdown. That was 4 games, the last 4 games that a team played, because you truly knew who they were as a team. You knew what they did on third down, their personnel groupings, what they did in every situation. We're not there yet. We're only 2 games in. I'll know a lot more about the entire NFL after 4 weeks. I'm never surprised by what happens in the first 4 weeks. Never surprised. I get more surprised as the season goes along when you have the information that's available to you. So to answer your question, I think defenses are ahead of offenses right now currently. But after 4 weeks, these offenses will now, guess what? They've got their cheat sheet in front of them. They'll know what these defenses are going to do. The game planning and the scheming will come in. The offensive numbers, I think, will definitely skyrocket. But the easiest thing to do right now is do what? Just run the football. Have your offensive line get good push on their defensive front. That's easier than having Nick Bosa and those guys come at you and hit your quarterback every single play. These coaches aren't stupid. Coaches are like, you know what? Until we get this offensive line stuff fixed, or until we get these looks and know what the defense is truly going to do, let's just run it right at them. And it's been successful.
I'll tell you what, he's no Christian McCaffrey. There isn't a running back in this league that's Christian McCaffrey, but Jordan Mason's got some squabbles in him, man. He runs hard. He's a pile mover.
He's hungry. Damon, he's not out there just, playing around. He's trying to prove it. But we've seen this before. I mean, I've seen it from Matt Breida, seen it from Raheem Mostert. We've seen it from Tevin Coleman. I mean, we've seen it from Elijah Mitchell. We're not surprised when we talk about Shanahan in a run game. I think we're more surprised that Christian McCaffrey is a little bit banged up, but this is what it's always been like with the Shanahans, right? They find running backs who, in their system, it's one cut or your cut. That was always the philosophy that we were told, that these running backs are trying to get downhill. They run it to perfection. They have a great eye for talent. So I am not surprised at all that the next coming is Jordan Mason. I'm always more surprised the guys who don't make it. Remember Trey Sermon? Like, dude, how you can't run in this offense, brother? Like, everybody named mama can run in the Shanahan offense but you. But that's more the surprise that I've seen, but I'm not surprised when it comes to Jordan Mason and a lot of those guys that come in.
Nothing proves that you can play in this league until you're in this league. And right now I want to talk to you about a guy whose position you shared, and that guy's Fred Warner. This guy is a turnover machine. He attacks not only the ball carrier, but the football itself. You, as a player, created an awful lot of turnovers at the position of linebacker. You were great at creating and forcing fumbles. There is an art to it. Can you tell us how you get coached to force a fumble?
I can't even describe him. You know what I'm saying? Like, the dude is a baller. When I watch him, it's like poetry. And I remember I used to say that when I watched Patrick Willis and Navarro Bowman play. But watching Fred Warner on film is just like, he plays 2 steps ahead of the offense he's going up against. Like, he makes the right play. He punches the football out. He makes the right tackle. He intercepts the ball. But the one thing about him is he plays with a calm aggression. Like, you never see him overly hyped up, overly amped up. He plays in a demeanor in which he's able to be successful, and he kind of sicks you like a cobra, right? He's like a snake out there. He kind of glides and moves, but when he gets there, he packs a punch, and it's just been unreal to watch, man. Every single week, you just put a circle around 54, and it is
man, I put a circle around your name when I saw Rams and 49ers on the schedule. Thanks for watching. Tune into the Damon Bruce Show live on YouTube every weekday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific.